Edgar Berlanga versus Hamzah Sheeraz is a fight that I've went back and forth on ever since I first heard about it. I mean, you look and this is the quintessential matchup in the sense of styles make fights. You've got Edgar Berlanga, who's going to want to come in there and be a brawler and land these hard power punches, hooks to the body, hooks upstairs, back his guy up, get him against the ropes. And you contrast that with what you're seeing from Shiraz, who wants to be on the outside, boxing, long jabs, long right hands, working combinations, can back off, can box off of the back foot if he needs to, can also come forward and apply pressure. It's going to be very interesting in that regard of how this all plays out. But here's the thing. I think there's a few key things that people are missing in this one. Number one, I think Berlanga is going to be a better fighter after the Canelo fight. Now, look, I know a lot of people are probably wondering how exactly is that going to be? The man went out there and got beat, lost 11 out of 12 rounds, arguably, and then went on a victory tour for 30 days afterwards. How exactly does that make you a better fighter? And look, those things are true, right? We saw what happened. But Berlanga was young. Canelo was by far the best fighter he had ever faced. I don't think it broke his spirit. Honestly, I really don't. He went out there and got hammered on for 12 rounds. He went out there in the press afterwards. People were giving him a beating. There's people running around calling him Bumlanga and all kinds of stuff. Nevertheless, I don't think his spirit was broken. I think he's got way too big of an ego and he thinks way too much of himself to go in there and allow that to diminish him. I think he's going to turn around and he's going to take absolutely everything he can from that fight. And overall, it's going to make him better. Now, does that mean he's going to be the greatest ever or anything like that? Hardly. That's not what I'm suggesting. But go back and look at Canelo, right? We'll bring Canelo into it. That's the man that he lost to. When Canelo lost to Mayweather, it made him a better fighter. No doubt about it. It helped him define who he was, his style, and he went in and he was more prepared and laser focused, in my opinion, for every fight after that. I think we're going to see this same type of thing with Berlanga. I don't think he'll reach the heights in his career that Canelo has reached. That's irrelevant. I think the man is going to be a better fighter. And when we look at Shiraz, the thing that I think people aren't really focusing on with this guy, two things. Number one, first fight at 168 pounds. On the one hand, you could look and say it's going to make him better. He doesn't have to go in there and fight with the scale. He's not going to have to suck down to 160, right? Because he's a tall guy at 6'3". Can't exactly be easy making 160 pounds. So giving him those extra 8 up to 168, it's going to be good. But he's never fought a guy as big as Berlanga. He just went in there in his last fight against Carlos Adames, an older, smaller guy, and we saw the trouble that gave him. I don't think that trouble that he was given, that Adames was giving him, was due to the fact that he was weight trained. I don't think it was due to the fact that he just didn't have it in the reserve from going in there and having to suck all the way down to 160 pounds. I don't think that was the case. If it was, then 168 would make him more formidable, a little bit more sturdy. I don't think that was the situation. Okay, so what I saw Carlos Adames able to do to him in the middle of that fight, into the later rounds in that fight, and then I think about what Berlanga has the ability to do as a bigger, stronger, younger guy. You know, it's going to be interesting. Shiraz has a lot going for him in this fight, and there can easily and logically be an argument made that he's going to come out with a victory on this one. All he has to do is keep it on the outside, keep that jab going, stay sharp, stay crisp with it, land the right hands. And maybe Berlanga gets discouraged. Maybe he's getting tattooed for the first 3 rounds. And we've seen Berlanga get frustrated before. We've seen him throw an elbow. We've seen him with the biting. We've seen these types of things. This is a guy who doesn't have the patience, doesn't have the discipline, doesn't have the mental fortitude to be able to see things through for the entire way. Maybe Shiraz can do that. Maybe Shiraz can go out there and start to click that, right? Because we know how big this fight is for both men. We know how big this fight is. Edgar Berlanga goes out there, loses to Canelo, fights a very underwhelming opponent that the media and the fans tear him up about afterwards, and now he's coming into his hometown and he's fighting Shiraz. He knows how big this is. He not only needs to win, he needs to go out there and put on an impressive performance. He's been calling for the knockout. He's been saying he's going to knock this dude's teeth out. He's at the press conferences doing the air Uzis and all kinds of things, right? Getting in his face, being real rough and grimy and tough about it. What's going to happen if he doesn't see any success for the first 3 rounds? What's going to happen if he goes out there and tries to execute his plan and early on he's not seeing any success, running into a lot of resistance? Does it cause him to get off his game plan? Does he get off his square and just kind of lose that focus and not be able to pursue it? Does he go and do something else? Does he try and do something crazy to throw a little bit of chaos into the situation and think that he can benefit from that? Or is he just going to go in there and be single, one-minded, and have the focus that is necessary to, no matter what, pursue the game plan? Because all these fights start from the outside. And we know that as fights continue and they go on in the middle and the late rounds is when they start to become closer. Guys get physically, they get closer together. That's what Berlanga needs, okay? His fight is on the inside. Maybe you can make the argument mid-range. But mid-range to inside is where he's going to see success. He tries to turn this into a boxing match. He tries to dance around on the outside and use the jab. It's going to be a disaster. He's going to lose all day. He'd be 12 rounds to 0 if this was a jabbing contest between him and Shiraz. But the truth is, I don't think it's going to go there. The truth is, I think he's going to be able to get the victory in this one. And like I said, I went back and forth. It's going to be close in a lot of ways, particularly early on. I think he's going to see a lot of trouble. There'll be a lot of resistance. But I'm banking on the fact that he grew up from that Canelo fight. I'm banking on the fact that he's going to be able to see this one through. He's been on this big stage with the Canelo fight and all the buildup and everything. So I don't think that this one is going to necessarily come in and intimidate him. I don't think he's going to come in and feel overwhelmed. I think even if he's getting caught with that jab early and it seems crisp and he's not able to block it or get his head out of the way that he initially wanted, I think he'll be able to see it through, right? That 12-round fight with Canelo, I think that's really helped him grow up. I think he's going to persevere on this one. He's going to come out with the victory. He's going to be talking about how he ruined the plans of Hamzah Sheeraz. When we sit here and we analyze both men, yes, it's a close fight. Yes, an argument could be made that it could go both ways. But I think this one's going to go to Berlanga. And I think that we're going to look at it as a growing moment for him. It's going to be an opportunity when he went out there. And this will be, should he get the victory, this will be the best opponent that he defeated. Not that he faced, that's Canelo, but it will be the best one that he defeated, and it'll present another opportunity for him to get that notch under his belt and kind of grow up. Remember, the guy's only, 28 years old, so we still got some time left in the tank to have his physical maturity and his ring IQ and his mental discipline and his maturity in the ring as a fighter kind of marry and reach his peak. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm giving too much credit to what Berlanga was able to pull from that Canelo fight? Do you think it's going to be the flip side? Hamzah Sheeraz was able to pull a lot from that fight with Carlos Adames, and he's going to be the one who grows up, and he's going to be able to move into 168, fill out, be a little bit more sturdy, and put it on Berlanga in his hometown. Let me know.